What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Basara 3! Alright, it's kind of awkward to, it's always kind of awkward to start these videos because I have to wait for something to happen and then comment on it. I can't say immediately what we're going to be doing in this episode because I have to watch this thing happen. Oh, what the? Hojo defeated Kenshin? Okay, that's odd. I don't want to fight Hojo again in this campaign because I fought him last time. Thank God Toshe beat that guy because he's kind of useless and I didn't really want to fight him. That's supposed to be some kind of pun? That was a great scene in Judge End where Mitsunari comes for Yoshiaki Mogami and then Masamune just happens to show up. Maybe he was taking refuge there, who knows.
His logic is not mine to fathom, but I urge you, it would be wise to at least make an inquiry.
Motochika, that filthy pirate.
Alright, so now our next main storyline battle is going to be up against Motochika Chosokabe, who's, again, one of my favorite characters in Basara, and his involvement in the Basara 3 continuity is pretty interesting. I don't feel like him and Mori have as much to do in Basara 3 as they did in Basara 2, but Motochika certainly has more to do, I feel like. Mori just kind of sits on his ass until Sekigahara and gets trampled by whoever comes into his territory, and this is true even in both continuities of the anime as well. So we had another option there, but really to progress, I want to go after Motochika because it's going to create for some interesting discussion. And I really like his stage in this game. It's really over the top and ridiculous, and it takes a long time to complete, as opposed to his stage in Basara 2, which was still pretty interesting, but not quite as over the top as this. Okay, so quick recap. We all know who Motochika Chosokabe is. I talked about him in Basara 2, and I played as him in Basara 2. He's one of my favorite characters. He swings around a giant anchor as his weapon, and he kind of color matches us quite a bit, so we clearly cannot get along. There's only one purple-wearing, white-haired samurai in this game. In the game continuity, he's also known for having ridiculous machinery at his disposal. So in the very first Basara, he was known for having those giant AT-AT-looking walker things that would just roam around the map and shoot bombs and arrows out of it. Now he has this ridiculous contraption called the Rising Sun, which is like a giant turtle robot thing with legs and a ship on top of it, so it's probably water buoyant as well. So we're going to attack the rotor on the back for massive damage using Vexation there. Apparently somebody told me you can dodge and use Vexation, and it's really effective that way, so you might be able to cast it and then dodge backwards and allow it to attack the enemy that's in front of you, which seems like a pretty good strategy. I like that I'm actually getting discussion regarding the combat sandbox in this game and how to best utilize Mitsunari's moves. Apparently there's a lot of Mitsunari fans out there, and I am totally okay with this. Keep the discussion going, guys. I really love hearing your feedback about what you like to see in terms of gameplay, because the problem with watching a Muso game is sometimes they're a lot more fun to play than they are to watch, especially if the person playing is doing the same repetitive move over and over again, and a lot of times that's what I see with a lot of Muso games, especially if it's a blind run and you've never played the game before. So all of the Muso games that I'm playing are test played. Extella was thoroughly test played, Dragon Quest Heroes was, and all of the Basara games are as well. So I try to make sure I optimize the combat sandbox, and just to make it entertaining to watch, so you're not seeing the exact same move over and over and over again, and that I'm being as efficient as possible. So thank you guys for commenting and letting me know how you feel about Mitsunari's gameplay. So now that we're inside his fortress here, we're going to navigate our way into his machinery, like manufacturing areas where he's making all these weird contraptions and boats and things like that. So again, I guess to get back on, I'll talk a little bit more about the the Let's Play itself. So with I had the 1000th video recently. For those of you that haven't watched that, definitely go check it out. I announced a lot of my upcoming Let's Plays in that. Essentially the Let's Plays I'm going to be doing for probably the next 2 years or so. I had the whole thing, I have basically all of 2018 planned out in that video, and several Musou games were announced in there. Obviously, Berserk and the Band of the Hawk is going to be the next one, and then Arslan, the Warriors of Legend. Basara 4 is probably going to be after those two, but I'm also going to be test playing Fire Emblem Warriors as soon as I get it off of layaway. The game has been out for over a month now, but I still don't have it. I have both the new 3DS version and the Switch version on layaway, but I also have the new 3DS, or I'm sorry, it's the new 2DS XL, as a matter of fact, and a Switch also on layaway. So I can't test play it yet, but I'll get it out probably in a week or so and start test playing that. So I'll be able to give you guys an idea of when the Fire Emblem Warriors Let's Play is going to be. So I would like to do that as soon as possible because while it's still new and, you know, I am going to... That's a game I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and, you know, as a big Fire Emblem fan and a big Musou fan, I think it's going to pay off really well. It's also it's a big contrast to Dragon Quest Heroes in a way, because Dragon Quest is also a very, very, very long-running JRPG series with beloved characters. So, you know, getting to see Marth come to life in a Musou game is very similar to how I feel about, you know, Kirill and Elena coming to life in Dragon Quest Heroes. So recently there was a Facebook meme going around talking about, like, name a series and I'll tell you my favorite characters from that series, you know, my most attractive characters and favorite ships and things like that. And somebody did that with Basara, and I had to, it was somebody I met at Anime Expo. I actually met them during the Fate group, but they actually happened to be a Basara fan as well, and I told them that I cosplayed Kojiro and how I wish I could have a big Basara cosplay group and everything. And they proceeded to comment on the post, and I had to talk about the characters that I like the most, and there's so many characters that I love in this series, and Motochika is definitely one of them. He's one of my most favorite male characters, and without too much hesitation, the most attractive character that I picked is the character we're going to be playing as next after Mitsunari, and you guys will see who that is hopefully soon in, like, what, 5 videos now? So I have Mitsunari's Basara gauge and his Fury Drive gauge full. Hopefully we'll be using that pretty soon. We have most of these underground areas conquered. So I guess now would be a good time to talk about Motochika in the context of Basara 3's story. So in Basara 3, the game, they don't really go into this very much, but in Basara Judge End, it is revealed that, and I'm sure they talk about this a little bit more when you play as Motochika in Basara 3, but I haven't played as him that much. But they go on to say that the Western Army, Mitsunari's faction, actually essentially blackmails Motochika into joining them by tricking him. He tricks him by his some of Mitsunari's more slimy generals put Tokugawa flags in Motochika's territories and kill civilians and things like that in order to look like it was the Tokugawa coming in and just cleaning house. And so Motochika's like, how could he do this? It is terrible. And then he's like, obviously I'm going to ally with the Western Army so I can kick Ieyasu's ass. Which makes sense, but then again, the way that I have a huge problem with the way that Motochika is portrayed in Basara Judge End. They make him out to be an idiot. And it's from that instance alone where he just easily falls for this ploy to be like, it was not us, it was Ieyasu. He did all of this. It's all his fault that your people are dying. And he just believes it. And again, it doesn't make any sense for his character. It makes him look really stupid. And there's other moments, like when he finally goes along with characters like Yukimura and Mitsunari, and he just acts like such a fool, and it's so unbecoming of him. I'm actually trying to find how to get to the center of the arena now. I could have, there's a faster way of doing it, and hopefully when I do this stage later on in the Let's Play, I'll be able to get there, but I need to go back up here and enter that hallway from the top where this command post was. There we go. Luckily Mitsunari is really fast, so this should be pretty easy. There we go. Great, another Rising Sun enemy. But anyway, yeah, I have huge problems with the way that Mitsunari is portrayed in Judging, because they just make him out to be this idiot. I don't like that at all, because he's supposed to be one of the most cunning and strategic characters. Like, he's just like, he acts on instinct, but he's really brutal, and they just always make him out to be this likable character. And they just go and ruin it in Judging by making him this buffoon. And also don't like him really picking the side of the Western Army, because while he's always a rogue character, he's never really perceived as a good guy, but he always allies himself with the good guys in the other continuities. And again, the good guys being a relative term in Basara, because everyone is out for their own selfish benefit, their own desire to conquer the country. So basically not picking the side of the Devil King of the day, essentially. If he was opposed to Oda Nobunaga, he's a good guy. If he's opposed to Hideyoshi, so on and so on. And in the anime, in Basara Samurai Kings, the true anime, again, he was always this rogue character that never had a side, but he always opposed the main villain. So in Basara Last Party, the movie, he opposes. He's basically independent. Like him and Mori are neutral as they usually are for the majority of the movie, and that works to their benefit, because it would be out of character for them to join either side. So they only show up at Sekigahara to just stir things up and have shenanigans. Other than that, they don't really do a whole lot in Judging, which I think is for the best. But again, in the Last Party. But in Judging, yeah, they get them involved right away. And Mori doesn't really do anything. And again, Mori's personality type is very similar to that of Mitsunari's. He's just an edgelord, although he's a little bit more calm. So I don't think they would get along either. So I don't know. I guess that's maybe the reason why they decided to find some contrived way to get Motochika to ally with Western Army, although I just feel like it doesn't make any sense, because you're certainly not going to get Mori to ally with the Eastern Army. Like, that's not going to happen. If anything, I feel like Mori would ally himself with Mitsunari purely because he was a Hideyoshi loyalist, if anything. There's my boy! Voiced by none other than Patrick Seitz.
And there is no remedying that.
God, he's got such a badass voice in English.
Mind off that tragedy. Get ready. Show me what you can do and drive away the memories that
He just manhandles that anchor. It was an interesting casting decision, because in the Japanese version, Motochika's voice is kind of like squeaky and raspy, and it's not very deep. And then you cast Patrick Seitz, which has given him the nickname Pirate Ragna by some people, because obviously Patrick Seitz voices Ragna from Blaze Blue, and he's got a large weapon and white hair. He looks somewhat similar. But yeah, Patrick Seitz is a badass. We love him, and he's also a nerd. He also helped be the dub director for the Basara anime, so he helped direct the dub for Season 2. There's a great feature on the Basara Blu-rays where you can listen to him and the guy that does the voice of Maeda Toshie talk about how they directed the series, and how they directed specifically the episode where Hideyoshi punches the ocean and essentially gets Motochika wrecked. And that would be another interesting thing. Motochika and Masamune had a fight in Season 2 of Samurai Kings, and I've talked about this in previous Let's Play, but they essentially were allies as a means to an end to get back at Hideyoshi. So again, it really wouldn't make much sense to put him against Masamune, who would be on the Eastern Army side in Basara 3. But again, I have my own issues with that. So Unfortunately, we're going to have to kick his ass, as awesome as he is. So we are significantly faster than him, but man, does he hit hard. He also has a pretty decent amount of health, too. He's a very tanky character. He's fire elemental, as you can see, and his Basara attack is pretty fierce. We definitely want to look out for his final attack, which is that where he drops his anchor into the ground like a meteor. And I like Mitsunari a lot. I've commented on this before, but he just does not have a lot of health. He starts out with very little, and I like the little comments that his allies are making here. Okay, hopefully I can finish him off with this Basara attack, because I'm almost out of health. Alright, we got him. That was really clutch. I would have been forced to just kind of allow the gauge to autofill at critical health there, which is not a technique I ever want to take advantage of if I don't have to.
Well done. Now I'm sure an alliance with you will succeed. I respect you, Mitsunari. You're a man who lives by his principles. Truly, I don't think you're half as wicked as your reputation.
But I think your reputation suits you well. In your eyes, I see no hatred. Ieyasu shouldn't have sent such a poor liar!
I do not lie. To have my revenge, I'll do what must be done.
They look to him for guidance, hanging on his every word. They bow to his every whim. And what they cannot give, the fates present before him. That smug creature took everything away from me. Ieyasu, I will never forgive you for what you have done!
As you wish.
Alright, we got Motochika as an ally. Cool.